Hello. It's a long time since I've done a live stream, so it's kind of exciting to be back. Had a very interesting adventure this summer, so I haven't been online in the same way that I have been in the past. But today, what I'd like to tell you about and share with you is that I'm starting a new healing meditation series, a guided healing meditation series that will start September 27th, 7 p.m. Eastern. It's all recorded. It is called Expanding Your Container by Holding Space. So that's a little bit of that phrase is a little bit of a woo-woo word, perhaps. A friend of mine asked me just this week, what does that mean exactly? So I'm not actually going to go into the definition of that right this second, but I wanted to share with you one reason that this series may be useful for you. So in my work with many folks who are looking to balance and to alleviate anxiety and anger and overwhelm, again and again, one of the greatest drains on our energy and health, and I remember this myself, is taking on the job to fix others' hardships, their suffering, their emotional state, etc. Taking that on as our job. And since many of you listening to this are highly empathic people, which is a lovely gift, very lovely gift, and you notice the emotions of others and sometimes feel them as your own, or you're not really sure whose is whose, you may be particularly interested in what I'm sharing here. And in the same way, if you often find yourself irritated or disappointed by what other people do, then this series is for you. It's also for you, even if you don't consider yourself an empath. So anyway, I was saying that sometimes we get drained by what's happening in the lives of others, and we take it upon ourselves to fix that. And before I go on, I want to be very clear that in no way am I saying right now or in the midst of this series that we should not help people, whether they ask us, implicitly for help, or we notice that they need help. So I'm absolutely not saying that. Please keep offering help in an open-hearted way to people. We live in community, and this is how our species creates harmony. Sometimes, not sometimes, often people do benefit from our assistance. Again, whether they ask for it or not. Sometimes, though, this help that is given drains the helper for various and sundry reasons, many reasons that would be something that we would talk about one-on-one. So I'm not going to go into that here. However, I am interested in the solution. The solution to not being so drained by others' sufferings is not to close them off and set a boundary and not deal with it. And it's not learning how to help them differently. Maybe they just need a different kind of help, different kind of intervention. Maybe there's something else that you should have been saying. So that is actually not the solution to being less drained by it. Or like if they would only get better, like that would drain me less. That is also not going to get you there. The solution, though, is to improve your resiliency, expand your capacity for compassion and grace. So it sounds sort of logical and maybe even wishy-washy to you. How do you like? A lot of times my clients are looking for formulas, how to do that. So, and I'll talk a little bit about the formula right now. And remember that these are words that I'm saying to you, and words are useful. They help our brain, connects it to things that we already know. And sometimes we need to, maybe all of the time, we don't always need to bring the brain for the solution. Sometimes the solution can be accessed another way by changing the way we are in the body, how we experience calm. So, and this is one way of doing this, is to expand your container, expand the capacity of what you can hold, what you can interact with. So our hearts our hearts energetically are very broad, but through the course of living and things that have happened to us, we may have forgotten that. So when we learn and when we have experiences that expand our container or our heart, there's more room in there to move through what we're encountering. And we don't have to, if we are filled with compassion and grace, to use just use the metaphor here, then when we experience suffering, we can feel it and have compassion and grace for it, not empathy. Empathy is great, but not simply empathy, but something even broader that doesn't require us to take on the pain of other people. Because in truth, taking on the pain, like, I just feel so bad for them. I understand. And if we are truly interested in helping and supporting, compassion is the answer. Compassion and grace and holding space for them. So how do we do this? I'm a broken record here. Practice a heart-centered Qigong. Practice it daily so that you can expand the what you can hold, what you can endure. And Pangu Shenggong has been the best way that I've ever encountered to do that. You all know that. I teach that. And get assistance from someone if you're having a hard time integrating that or some other practice into your life. More as far as the formula goes, practicing a heart-centered Qigong, practicing noticing when you're knocked off your center, noticing when you're not calm because of things that happen around you or in you. Notice too the freedom you feel when you are calm. And if you're in this moment, in these 10 seconds, if you're not feeling calm while you're listening to this, see if you can remember a time that you were. And if you can't, please let me know. Let me, perhaps we can work together to help you remember that. Judge less yourself and others. Endeavor to do your best in all moments, at all times. And I do know, like, that isn't meant to be a call for you to feel inadequate. Please don't do that. That is never what I mean. But it is an opportunity to remember that in any given moment, we can choose to put forth the best that we have with diligence and persistence. Understanding that if we're sick or, there's been something happened that maybe or our chi is low, there may not be as much there, but still the intention is to do our best. And then the last thing is to train your intention, meaning why you do anything. Train your motivation to be very broad, to be without attachment to a specific outcome. So for those of you who may not be familiar with these sorts of things that I'm sharing, it can be confusing because it may sound like I'm saying, what do you mean be broad with your outcome? Don't you want her to get well? Don't you want their marriage to be better? Don't you want her to leave that abusive relationship? So, of course, there's a part of me that is narrow in that way, that has a judgment for what I think is best. And of course, there's a part of me that might want that. And what I'm suggesting, though, is to be, this is another one that happens, that we have the intention that they will, that the person that we're praying for, doing something for, that they will do something that we want them to do, behave in a certain way, make a choice, something like that, behave in a certain way to us. And all of that is human. It's human, and it narrows our intention when we have a certain outcome that we want to have happen. Because truly, like, who are we to know what is best for another person? Who are we to know that? We can explore that for ourselves, and we can hold for another. And this is what I mean by broad outcome: hold for another, that they would know what is the highest and best thing for, that they would experience that, knowing that in our human bodies and its, in its limitations and its evolving state, that we may not know what that is. We probably don't know what that is, in fact. So there is great freedom in practicing this I don't know, and I'm okay with that, and staying instead in compassion and grace for all things. And this is a practice. And again, I'm saying words here, and they all may sound really good to you. But yeah, I want to do that. I can't do it because, and then we have our reasons that get in the way of being able to authentically, what I'm speaking about here is holding space for another person, and even holding space for yourself. So I do hope that this has given you a little, and I'll continue in the next couple of days to share other ideas that help explain this term of holding space and when and why it can be useful. Today I talked about when we feel that need to fix something that somebody else is doing to make it better for somebody. Again, please keep doing nice things for other people. Stay broad, though, when you do them. Stay unattached to the outcome. Do it with unconditional love and compassion. So this series starts again September 27th. There is an early discount if you register by the 17th, next Saturday, I believe it is. All the sessions are recorded, so if you have to miss one of the 4 sessions, you can pick it up later. All the intention and the practices will be there in it. The chi will be in it. The healing will be in them. This series will be mostly meditation, guided meditation, and there'll be a bit of teaching involved, a little bit similar to what I just did here. We'll be explaining the concept of holding space for yourself and for others so that you can experience more calm, feel more grounded, and have a greater and easier connection to compassion. This term, holding space, as I mentioned earlier, has been greatly misunderstood. And sometimes empathic people can feel more burdened by this term instead of free. And I believe that this is simply a misunderstanding about what it means. It's also created conflict for those that are not aware of the low level, or you may be high level, codependent tendencies that might surround their relationships. There's a chance for it to be misunderstood and again feel like a burden. So even if you don't identify as an empath or have an experience with codependency, these sessions should be very helpful because they'll be tailored to support integrating the concept of holding space in a non-judgmental fashion for what we encounter, while still maintaining integrity of our individual perspectives. So that is an important piece to remember, while still maintaining the integrity of our perspectives or honoring our own perspectives. I'll be using guided healing protocol that's based on medical Qigong practices, and the sessions will be facilitating a release of anxiety and constriction and other emotional and physical tightness, just like my other series have done. But then there's particular focus on cultivating what we're talking about here and enhancing your ability to simply be when you're encountering these things that are challenging, that are disruptive. So let me know if you have any questions. I look forward to having you, and I hope that you all have a good afternoon and evening. Thank you. I can't figure out how to move over. There we go. Ciao.